I'd like to welcome everybody again to the Novae Sunday night mentorship conference call. And tonight I'm going to be going through some great information. So if you're joining me and you really care about others and you want them to be able to benefit from some information, really put them on track to not only survival, but really thriving through this tough time, this unprecedented time that we're going through right now with the coronavirus, I would suggest that you just share this. If you could share this live to make sure everybody can get this information, I promise you that it's going to be well worth it. And it's going to be something to really set people up, I believe, to leave a legacy. I always tell people that, you know, when you change your life and when you become massively successful, everything goes back to a defining moment. Something happened, whether you saw something, whether somebody said something to you, whether, you know, you were a part of something that just totally transformed the way you looked at life, and it set you on path to do something different. You know, and that happened for me. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and, you know, jump right into what I'm going to be talking about here tonight, this evening, give you some information about myself. But I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to join us this evening for this webinar and conference call, because people are also joining us all across the country over the phone. So we have people I see here in California. We got people in New York. We got people in Texas. I see some callers in, you know, Hawaii, Ohio, obviously right here in Georgia, Florida, all across the country. That's joining us on this live webinar and on this conference call. So I'm going to be referring to webinar and conference call throughout our time here, but just understand people are joining us from all over. I want to be clear that I'm not just showing gratitude for thanking you for taking time out of your schedule to get with me here tonight, you know, to you, but I'm saying thank you for you investing time and energy into yourself. You know, you are going to benefit much more than me from this time here tonight. And I say that humbly, because I personally have been blessed financially tremendously over the past 19 years in my entrepreneurship journey, but my life didn't start off that way. You know, being raised in a single parent home, living in a couple of housing projects on the south side of Atlanta early on in my life until my mother was eventually able to become a homeowner. You know, we still struggled financially until I was able to gain access to information that changed the trajectory of my life. You know, even though my mother didn't have much money, she raised me with care. And I learned many other things from my grandparents and aunts and uncles that helped build a foundation that later mentors could build on, that helped me go from being a broke college student to making 6 figures in a couple of years. And after that, even 7 figures within the next 5 years, and a successful full-time entrepreneur ever since. So what we do is fast forward to 2014, and I started a company, you know, that provides a financial mentorship and guidance foundation that I had early on in my career that helped me change my life forever. But in addition to that, it provides a foundation for those individuals that weren't as blessed as me and weren't as blessed as a few other people to have character building early on in their life. You know, so we do both here with Novae. You know, in fact, Novae, that's who we are. We inspire people to get more out of life. We educate them on the ways to go about it. We provide opportunities to make it happen, okay? So tonight, our objective isn't to sell you anything, but to rather encourage you to get prepared. I want you to type that in the comments. If you join me over Facebook, I want you to type that in, get prepared. If you join me at novaelive.com, just type it in, get prepared. If you're joining me over the telephone, even though we can't hear you, just say get prepared. That's our objective tonight, is to encourage you to get prepared. At the time of this call and webinar, many in the world are in what we call a quarantine right now. And the reason why I say at the time of this call and webinar is that we will be making this available for individuals in the future to hear. So it's important that I say at the time of this call, because hopefully in the near future, when somebody listens to this, we won't be in quarantine much longer. But back to the word quarantine, at this point, we all know that this was put in place to help reduce the spread of COVID-19, the novel coronavirus. And my condolences and prayers go out to everyone who has been affected by this deadly disease. But before we get into tonight's main message, the top 12 things you can do during the quarantine to protect your financial future, let's look at the word quarantine, what it actually means. Just a piece of the definition is a state, period, or place of isolation. Now, I would encourage everyone tonight to take notes. Hopefully you didn't just come here to get on this call or watch this webinar just to get motivated, just to see if it can shake you up a little bit and put you on track. Or you're looking for that one secret to help you get rich. It's not that kind of program. And I want to help everybody understand that motivation is not the key to life change. It's very important. And yes, you'll be motivated tonight. Inspiration is not the key to life change. Inspiration is very important. And yes, you're going to be inspired tonight, but the key to life change is education. Okay, it's important that you be able to learn something new, to do something new, to be able to get new results. So it's not just about hearing it, but it's about writing it down. It's about reviewing it, and it's about putting it into action if you really want to change and transform your life. So tonight is going to be an opportunity where you'll be able to take some notes, you'll be able to review those notes, and you'll be able to put some plans together to really help you take life to the next level. We all should start taking life more serious. If you look at your life right now, and if you get off the webinar tonight, or if you get off the conference call, and you go open up your bank account, whether it's the app or whether you're looking at it on the computer online, and if it's not really where you want it to be, what I encourage you to do is start taking life more serious. What I encourage you to do is start planning more. What I encourage you to do is level up by being able to read more, research, and getting around people who can actually help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Stop thinking that everybody's out to get you, because the fact is, yes, some people are, but a lot of people are getting us even without trying. That's like tweet noteworthy or actually posted on Instagram. A lot of people are getting us even without trying. You got to stop thinking about everybody being out to get you, because a lot of people are getting us even without trying. What do I mean by that? You think somebody trying to scam you and take away your money, but there are people around you right now who are literally keeping you broke. People around you right now literally keeping you away from your destiny because you hold on more to that friendship or that association more than you really want your dream. So it's time for us to really recalibrate and understand that this is a moment of time, a state, a period, or a place of isolation for us to figure out what we really need to be doing. This is going to be good, y'all. I hope y'all ready. See, now, of course, this normally means quarantine against some biological infectious disease when we talk about quarantining. But what I like to do for a moment is consider the timing based on our financial situation. I'm not saying everyone is in this situation at this exact moment, because some of you on here may be already doing pretty well. Some of you on here may be saying, Rico, yeah, cut out the talk about being broke. I'm really ready for the next level. And what I want to encourage you to do is, you know, if you kind of figured this financial thing out, what you got to do now is sow more seeds. See, if you're already wealthy and you want to go to the next level of wealth, it's really about you being able to sow into somebody else what was sown into you to get to where you are so you can go to the next level. Because it's really only a few basic things that you master when it comes to making money, and you always can make money. As long as you don't make too many moves that are too dangerous, that are too risky, that'll really throw you off when you got all these high expenses. When you learn how to make money and you're good at it, you can make money doing anything. I just want to throw that out there. So the bottom line is, if you're here and you're already making 6 or 7 or 8 figures, just take this information I'm going to share with you, and maybe you can kind of bottle it up and help somebody else, but I'm going to talk about some things that's going to help you too. But it's important for us to understand that I'm talking about being able to consider the timing based on where you are with your financial situation. I'm not saying everybody's at this situation, but what I'm saying is, let's consider that while the state has been imposed and it's a period of isolation for each other, God has imposed this quarantine so that we can get ourselves together in several areas. Now, tonight I'm just going to talk about finances, but some of us need to start looking at a better plan for our health. Some of us need to start looking at a better plan for our relationships, the way we parent our children. You know, some of us need to put a better plan together when it comes to our career and what we want to do with our life. Are we being fulfilled? I mean, this whole area, time period doing isolation, right? This state that we're in is really about getting recalibrated. Now, see, there are several negative side effects we could bring up due to this quarantine, but what we can do over the next few minutes is consider a positive side effect. We have been forced to slow down and consider where we are, what hasn't been working efficiently, and plan to make it better, if you care to make it better. That's very important. See, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I said thank you for getting on here tonight, and not just to you directly, but I really want you to thank yourself because you care about doing something different so you can get a different result. There's so many people who were suffering before the quarantine. There's so many people who are going to be suffering even worse when the quarantine goes into a recession, and they're going to be suffering when we come out of the recession. You don't have to be among that number. Even if I touch one person tonight that truly believes the words coming out of my mouth and puts a plan together based on the information that I give you, my job here is done. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Again, tonight I'm going to be talking about the top 12 things you can do during the quarantine to protect your financial future. The tips are not necessarily in order, but if you haven't done any, I humbly suggest you get started after this call, after this webinar, to make things happen. So the number one thing to protect your financial future is identify your position. Identify your position. Somebody drop it in the comments so I know nobody's sleeping. If I say something good, something that really sticks, something that really resonates with you and grabs you and makes you feel like, that was really good, I want you to comment that. I want you to put that thing out there so people, can know they were supposed to get that point. Okay, whatever's for you. All right, and I want y'all to share this. We on Facebook right now, share this, because the only thing on TV right now is this Michael Jordan documentary. I don't know if y'all heard about that, The Last Dance. I watched a few of those shows to catch up this morning. It's playing behind me right now. So just put that thing on record. I want you to focus right now. We can always go back to that a little later. I know I am. Number one is identify your position. You want to identify where you are financially. Don't just watch me as I'm talking about this. I want you to write these things down. And you may say, Rico, well, I already knew that. Well, I want you to be able to write it down, even if you knew it, so you can actually teach this to somebody else. I want you to be able to pay it forward, because these things that I'm talking to you about is not something that I read in a book or watched from a webinar. It's something and things that I've learned over the years that I implemented that helped me go from being broke and in a lot of debt and working for other people and not being necessarily happy financially to gaining some type of financial independence and being able to travel the world and drive the car I want to drive and be able to spend time with my family and do great things that I love to do. What I'm telling you is I'm kind of giving you the cheat code so you can break in and do the same thing for you and yours. All right? So identify where you are financially. Now, not where you think you are in your head, okay? Where you really are. So if you don't know how to do that, we're going to break this down real quick. So some of the things you need to do to identify your position, jot these down. You need to write down, what is your income? Okay, what is your income? Now, I'm not talking about when you go apply for something and you're about to get some debt. They tell you to write down your gross income. That's the income that you're paid before they tax you. I want you to write down your take-home pay. That's what they call that, take-home pay, the money that you actually can get your hands on. Then you need to make sure you need to look at what do your savings look like. So your take-home pay, your savings, you need to identify, write that down, okay? You need to identify what are your debts. And I'm not just talking about your debt payments. I'm talking about your total debt. See, what we're doing right here are developing a personal financial statement. See, if you ever want to start building wealth, if you ever want to go from being broke to being able to be in the middle class and to be sufficient and to be able to be a homeowner and have some vehicles that you own and being able to start investing and building wealth, we're talking about this foundational stuff right here. See, because the fact of the matter is a lot of people that look like me, if you kind of look like me in terms of your skin color, and it's all skin colors really, but most of us weren't taught the basics. Why? Because they didn't teach them in school and nobody was able to teach our parents. So that means none of us got it. And we continue to pass on this miseducation when it comes to finances. So what I'm doing right here is giving you the foundation where you can start thinking like a person with a lot of money. So eventually you'll become a person with a lot of money. That's how it works. All right. So you want to write down this. Next, you want to write down what your credit score is. And a lot of people always throw around credit score like it's just one number. But in actuality, we have 3 credit scores that are reported by the 3 major credit bureaus. And we actually have more credit scores by other credit bureaus, but most financial institutions actually track your credit score by 3 credit bureaus with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You need to figure out what all 3 are. You have some of these free credit monitoring services out there that may only give you 1. They may only give you 2. And a lot of times they only give you the FICO score. Well, you want to know what your Vantage score is and your FICO score. All right. Do you have any investments? You want to jot that down. And if you don't have any investments, that's a goal. Okay. When you're making this list, take home pay, as far as your income, savings, okay, your debts, okay, your credit scores, okay, and then next, investments. And on that list, if you don't have any investments, what you want to do is you want to write goal beside the word investment, because that's where you need to get to. Instead of you paying your money to other people, what you need to focus on is making sure you can pay your money to something that makes your money grow. Put your money out there so it can bring some more money back. All right. And then what is your plan to enhance everything? Income, savings, debts, credit scores, investments, and your plan to enhance everything to make it better. See, the reason why you want to start with number 1 to identify your position is because you cannot correct what you are not willing to confront. I'm going to say that again in case you didn't get it. And somebody type that in because that's another good one. You cannot correct what you are not willing to confront. If you had financial issues all your life, maybe one reason why you never confronted it because you didn't know how. Maybe it stresses you out. Maybe you have a lot of anxiety. Maybe you get mad. But you know what? Anger or fear or anxiety never has helped anybody get rich. Let me tell you what helps you get rich. Let me tell you what helps you begin to leave a legacy. Confidence, passion, eagerness, being happy. See, all those things help you. Let me tell you what helps you get to those feelings. A plan. So the only way you can figure out how to get to a destination is you got to figure out your current location. See, when you can figure out where you currently are, then you can map out a game plan or directions to get to your destination. That's good, and we only on number one. Y'all got enough tonight to go out here and start this journey by yourself right now. Just after number one, let's go ahead and take this thing to number two. Y'all ready for number two?